Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. How's everybody doing? Welcome. I can't tell you how much fun this patch is to play. So let's pull it apart a little bit. Let me show you what's going on. Now, I did add one thing to this. For this particular song, this jam I started with, I needed to like match this vibe, so I'm using Valhalla Supermassive on the output, just a little bit of a preset under the reverbs called right here Cygnus X1 11. Cygnus 11 probably is what it stands for, but it just without it sounds like this. It's nice, but this just gives it this just forever sheen to it as well. So, welcome. My name's John Limcool. We do this each Saturday. We play with new libraries. We play with new plugins or plugins of companies I found that you guys might not know about. Let you know about them. We make patches. We just like sound, and we want to like be creative and be inspired. So. This is the latest library. This is MegaMagic Guitars V5. I can't believe I've done, well, three library versions for Unify, and before that there was two that were done for Omnisphere, which is where the Omnisphere MegaMagic Guitars Volume 1 and 2 were from Omnisphere, and then 3, 4, and 5 are Unify exclusives. Does everything sound okay? Voice, synthesizer levels. I'm not too loud over the top of it. Right? Hopefully not. Let's see here. I have the library stuff go away. Here's a couple other examples to give you some other ideas of volumes and... Okay, good. A bit low. A bit low overall, or which part? So this is a library. I've shown it last 3 or 4 I worked on this and I kind of like brought you guys along on the journey. It's 12-string, it's double-stringed instruments. So there is the 12-string acoustic. Then there's a 12-string electric. Here is the dry. Now, in the update that I released, that we're now at 150 patches. The harmonics are back. Yay, Skippy. I don't know. I checked them, but it was like 4 in the morning. So now there's different variations of the electric through different types of distortion and stuff like that. Right? So you got all that kind of vibe. We'll cover this library. We're going to make some patches at the end using this library. I want to do a couple fun things. I'm going to give you guys a bit low in volume overall. Okay, let me see here. I'm doing a different thing. I'm feeding, let's see, what can I do here? I'm not using loopback. Normally I've been using this loopback software. But the problem is that when I use this, it turns on latency. And so there's a latency and a doubling, and it's, so I've rigged up the overall. What I can do is this. I can go over here to filters. I'm using, I don't know if you know this, if you use OBS, but it has a whole built-in area where I can go over here and I can add gain. And let's say I just add, like, let's see, I'm checking my levels to make sure I'm not too low, but here's like 6 dB of extra. How's that? Is that better? Everybody's going to be adjusting the volumes of your phones. Sorry about that, but once I have this set, I can keep it better. That's much better. Okay. Yeah, I can see the signal. See, I'll give you, you can see the, let's back over here. This is the OBS screen, and I've got it going now using an audio capture inside of OBS. So it has, if you use OBS for anything, it has, when you go here to filters, you can add all sorts of built-in effects, noise gates, upwards compression, noise suppression, all sorts of things. So I could do a lot more, but I'm just trying to keep my voice kind of normal, and it seems a little more live in here than normal, but I don't know. It's fine. I just want to get the live see here. Good evening from the UK. Anyone else been on the live sound? Oh, cool. Yeah. No. Oh, I'm trying to remember his name. I can't. It's escaping me. He's a friend of mine that is behind SoundPaint and ADO, and those guys are great. So that's very cool. He's been working very hard on this new library. So good for him. All right, so I've got this better. So let me get this out of the way. We are not using loopback, so you can go away. Thank you very much. My gosh, there is so much going on. I wish I could tell you everything that's going on. Many things will be revealed soon. I can tell you this. I'll tell you this. We have a whole bunch of, and some of you are in the room right now, people testing Unify 2 and beta testing with us and giving us feedback. And it's been incredibly positive and exciting and encouraging. Don't anybody say anything. Don't give on any clues that you're part of the team or something like that. Just as an overall thing, we're getting much closer to U-Day, Unify Day, and it's going really well. There's still some things that Paul wants to do in software to Unify 2 to make it absolutely perfect for everybody. Things are kind of in the works. You have to picture he's been at this for 8 months. 8 months pretty much straight. And it's a lot that has been incorporated. All will be revealed very soon, and it's going really well. And so I'm so excited. So excited. I can't say anything more than that, but just know important little marks are being met and we are super excited with what we are doing. October is the month for Unify, and I don't know the exact date in October. Sooner rather than later, preferably. We haven't had any major issues. I mean, you have to realize 5 years ago, I was thinking back. Many of you were here 5 years ago when I was doing live streams with Unify version 1 when it first came out. And it would crash all the time in the live streams. And, you know, Shane worked his little self to get everything fixed. And I remember those first couple live streams where after the live stream, I would hop onto Skype. We communicated via Skype and be like, yay, no crash. We didn't crash this time. So from there to where, you know, I work with Unify all day long and do these live streams and streaming video and stuff. And those days are way past us, thank goodness. And so those were the days. Many of you guys were here. I appreciate all of you that have been around for all these years. Isn't that crazy? Just crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Okay, so I have some fun things to show you guys that I have been exploring and discovering and getting information. Thank you to those of you that send me email. By the way, we do have a Plugin Guru server on Discord now. If you want to join, things are going to get more lively there over time. So that is a very nice development for a, you know, Discord is a hub for a lot of different companies and a lot of people. So I've had a public Discord there for a while and no one joined it. It was crickets. Wish I had the cricket sample. But it's getting a little bit more alive. And so if you want to join us over there, you can. Hi, Don. Will there be videos which explain? Of course, there will be videos that explain Unify too. It's all about that. I want to tell you everything cool that's coming. It's the hardest thing in the world for my personality type to be quiet about something, because I like to share what I know and I like to share things that I have found and get you guys inspired and give you new tools and stuff. So it's been challenging to be quiet on everything that's coming because it's massive. It's truly a massive step for us. But yes, there will be videos revealing things and making sure that you understand the differences and how to do the new things and all that kind of stuff. So we will be doing that. Oh, yeah. That's one. I think I saw that. Let me see if I can. Because I wanted to do a thing to show you guys how you like put new plugins into Unify if you don't know. Because Myron Reverb, MYON free. Let me see something really quick. They have free for the first. They had a thing where it was free for the first 50, and that went away, I guess. Let's see. Here we go. Bedrooms, producers, free. They have a thing in here talking about all the reverb, but that's not the. That's their free thing again. Darn it. It's tough to do this in a live stream and search it up. But yeah, search for that if you want that reverb. I can't show you that. I found some other things that were discovered and shared that are really cool that I want to show you guys. One of them is Pyrite. Let me go over here to. Let's go to Groove Summit. This is a fun library for showing audio effect plugins because it's drum grooves and stuff to play with. So let's get one of these, maybe from Summit Part 2, which is more the electronic grooves. Here's the Dalai Lama. If you don't know about this, Groove Summit is a library I created. It's the concept being camps, like you're climbing up Mount Everest or something. Camp 1 are these really cool loops that were made by part of the ESC, Henrik. And this is half of it. I have another half of this library he created to release later this year in another Groove Summit, but that's for another day. But these are like all these really cool. And then inside of Unify, you can just go over here to like Unify layer and just click a couple of these to make really really cool electronic grooves. Summit 2 is hip hop breakbeat kind of. I created all these like retro sounding, right? Camp 3 is from a drum kit that I bought last Halloween for $200. That was a Yamaha kit that I put in the entryway here and recorded both an ambient drum kit and then a dry, snappy. Like take this, go to MegaMagic Guitars V5. Let's say we add something like, let's do the acoustic finger just to show you for a second how nice these are together. This is the acoustic, load this. Let's add one of the cool MegaMagic pads to this. Let's do the Eternal Reverb as we just need the first layer. And to make it more interesting, let's go over here. Let's put a little pump house on this reverb effect. And instead of this shape, let's make it a saw down and speed it up. So these libraries work together so nicely in such cool ways. So let's play with this and let's put this Phi right on it. I think it starts with a P. P-Y-R-I-P-Y. There it is. So there's a company I want to highlight called Signal Perspective. They make some really interesting plugins and they're all free. So let's go over here. Signal SID. Here is their website. I'll give you a link. Here is the company home, their home website. And they have 3. If you go here to their products, to audio plugins, I'm going to show you real quickly 3 of their plugins that are really cool. This is Pyrite. I'm not sure how the pronunciation. Prite. But it's really, really cool for both saturation and compression at the same time. It can add a little crunch. It has all sorts of settings over here for lift. So if you want to get a little more dynamics on it. But it sounds great. I mean, so you have all sorts of tools here for saturation. The way it's blended. There's a high pass filter. More air on the high end so you can do the nice sparkle. Now I'm hitting it really hard on the input, so it's compressing quite a bit. Let's bring this up so it doesn't hit so hard. Bring down the saturation so it's just a little bit. Bring up the lift. So the original is this. Just gives it sparkle and a little extra body, and it's free. You can go here. He does have, and I highly recommend and request if you can, down here, he has a link to a PayPal donation to buy him a slice of pizza, as he puts it, for these plugins, because they're really good plugins. These should be commercial plugins. The fact that, I mean, listen to how it like just brings out the right features in this mix of guitar and drums. Really nice. So this is fun. The other plugins from him, if we go Signal, because I have them all, Signal. The other one that I want to show you, there's Grindbox Mark II, as it's called now, which is distortion. So I'm gonna kill the guitar for the moment because we just want to play with the drums. Let's see. So mute these two layers. So, let's mess this up. You have all sorts of controls here. Right? So you have controls over it all. Then you have different types of distortion. So you have just a little bit added, which is nice. Lo-fi for compressing. I mean, just some really interesting things to the sound. I mean, it can go some really interesting places. There's a whole bunch of presets which, you know, it can do that type of vibe. And you can control exactly how much you want it to hit by the drive and the input trim. So all sorts of stuff. This is, again, a free plugin. And we could do all sorts of fun automation with this inside of Unify, of course, because going over here, let's see. I called up a knob that had a lot of assignments, so I cleared those. But if you go to the plus and you go, this is on the master effect, all of these parameters are available to be assigned to the macro knobs. So we can put a drive. We could even do something like, let's see, if we have this up, what other knob gives us all sorts of fun? That'd be fun to put on this knob too. So let's go over here and hit the little plus button. Go master, effects, grind box. And that's cab. So where is cabinet? Right here. So let's bring this all the way. As you can see, as I move this, the magic of Unify is that it's letting you see the parameters. So you can get all sorts of cool automated variation mixing stuff for your drums, percussion. Put this on a cool bright synth part, stuff like that. And there's a ton of presets. If you click the presets, you can see he's got like for keyboards. I mean, it's designed like a commercial. This should be easily a $49 plugin, and it's free. So make sure you get this. The other one from him that's really great is this like all-in-one mind-blowing delay plugin. So if we go over here and we say signal perspective trail bender. I gave you the link, right? Let me double check to make sure I gave you the link. Yes. So check this out. This is trail bender. And at start, it's just a delay feedback, right? You could go over here and hit the MIDI sync button. And for the bass time, I think we could set it to this MIDI sync. And then you have the presets. So if we go here to presets, look at these. There's all sorts of things. There's like tuning. Because there's all these parameters here to do all sorts of stuff. So fourth, up, down. It can do reverse. It can do self-modulation. I mean, listen to that. That's so... So it's more than just a delay. It can do delay type things, sure. It can do analog delay, analog and digital. You know, this. But it does so much more. These modulation, the granular things. So you can add all sorts of cool, unexpected things. So it's far more than what the interface looks like. I mean, it's got quite a few knobs here and so forth. But the fact it can go into granular kind of things. If you go over here to the special effects, you can find like drum slugs. Because it has these ducking parameters, crosstalk, saturation, the type of saturation. I mean, it's nuts. Whether it's feedback, before or after. You can break it. I mean, so it's a seriously fun place to play. You can get into like all sorts of places to go. Again, this should be a retail plugin, and the dude makes it for free for everybody. So buy him a slice of pizza. Enjoy these really cool tools. They are... I don't know of another delay plugin that does this wide of a range of things as Trailbender does. So this is very cool. So those three plugins from him are a very good find. I wanted to tell you about that. Another thing to tell you about, if we initialize Unify, we're going to call up real quickly on the Master Effects. Let me go over here to the layer presets. Before I call up anything in Unify, I always go to the mastering presets and load up the Optimizer Lite, which just puts a EQ, like almost invisible compression, but it's there if you need it, and then a loud max on the output so you don't hit 0 dB and distort. But Synthmaster has released version 3, and they now have the version 3 player, and the interface is really big. And let me see here if I can. I think I made it this way when I was playing with it. Let's see. We go to settings, interface, user interface. It's just so big. It's not. I don't see a place to host parameters. There's a lot here to work with, of course, because he's been at this for a while, and I click here and it won't resize for me. So anyway, we'll play it and you just can't see the whole thing on the screen. Let me go over here to OBS and well, here, let me do this. I can get OBS to do this a little bit differently. If I go over here and I shrink this down a little bit, and then I get it back in. There we go. Now you can see it. So this, let's see, if we go here to the browser, it comes with 500 patches, even in the free version that go. That's just one patch. Let me check OBS. So there's all this stuff in here. I mean, so it sounds great. There's a shop in here so that you can upgrade to the full version. You can get the full version of the player, which comes with all of the patches for all the versions of Synthmaster and stuff, for only $39. So it's something to definitely be aware of if you need cool. There's a lot of synthesizers out there. This one's been around a long time. It can get in your... All the effects, everything you're hearing is inside. Right, so this cool stuff. One thing to know, if you go to the settings, there's this enabled preset preview, which was turned on by default. When this is on and you hover over, I think it's supposed to, yeah. So you go this to quickly play. You go, oh, I want that. So just be aware that your mouse can hover over those when you're like not expecting it, and it'll sound like you've got like weird clucky glitchy issues or something. So I turned it off, but it's there by default to the on when you hover over the little play icons to do that. Yeah, you know, we have so many synthesizers, and you know, you kind of pick one, you get comfortable with it, and you just kind of like live there. You know, it's a common thing we do, just because it's there's just so much at this point from so many people making such things. But he's been at this a while and refined the interface, the types of synthesis it can do and stuff. It's very impressive. So I just wanted to make you aware, if you want a cool place for a bunch of sounds. I haven't unified this. We'll see if we can, maybe we can. You know, it can do all sorts of variations in synthesis, from the more modern stuff to the analog stuff and all that, of course. Really good. So I want to make you aware of that. And there's one more thing to tell you about. The guys at, let me get the company up here. It's AmpliTube from IK Multimedia. If I go to replace layer preset to my personal presets, I made this last night so that I would be able to just call it up and it's all set. This is AmpliTube version 5, and they have a free version called AmpliTube 5CS, and you get these presets, and it comes with a guitar amp and with their compressor in EQ, so you get to play with these presets that they've made that work. You can call up other presets from the other libraries and so forth, but it's gonna give you noise, white noise right off the bat, like, hey, you're not supposed to be here, kind of a thing. You can still hear it's really a nice Okay, okay, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. It's like you're not welcome here. So if you go to CS and call these up, these are. So let me find the link for this. I haven't put these in the video description yet. I'm sorry, I was going to do this before starting and I didn't. AmpliTube 5CS. Guitar. Let's see here. AmpliTube. It's from ikmultimedia.com. And let me see if I can find the link for you, because it's AmpliTube. Here we go. So here is the link for your free entry into the world of AmpliTube, which is nice. The sound that I'm running this through, by the way, just so you know, it's one of the dry samples inside of the Unify library for MegaMagic Guitars Volume 2. The Strat Softy. This is just a Strat, Fender Strat. A single sample. Now, I was going to try, because I now have it here, Electric Dreams. Let's go to guitar, to the Fender. This should sound even better. It's got a little bit more character to it, but it still, see how it's mellow? So now let's run that through AmpliTube. Am I in tune? Yeah, I'm in tune, okay. So you can get some really cool vibes. We go over here to the drive. Do all your Yngwie Malmsteen licks and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna sing this song here to my daughter. You know, it sounds really nice. So, AmpliTube, you got a free version if you want to try it out to do a... Nice pitch bend. I am using a wheel. It's the... It's just a spring-loaded little wheel on this 88-note Alesis keyboard controller that I got. frustrated and guitar player wannabe. I played a lot of guitar. I got 5 freaking libraries of different guitars I've sampled, and I have more. You can bring down now the way that you change amps and stuff. And you're gonna get to this like, oh, you can't use that amp because you can only use the ones that are unlocked, and then if you want, you can buy licensing and stuff to get the ones, but you can still play them for a second. Try now. You can try gear for 72 hours. Okay, thank you. I said try now. That's weird. It should unlock and give you access to everything for 72 hours if that's what it's going to do. But anyway, it's free. So check that out if you want. Yes, there are. Well, that's because there's as many guitars as there are Star Wars movies, too. You know? I mean, I have yet to do like a dedicated bass library. I have a couple really incredible basses, and I want to get a fretless and an upright bass. You know, you should see my little garage out here. It's just full of guitars and drums and all sorts of things. I love sampling things. It lets me learn the instruments when I make these libraries, you know. So yeah, spring loaded is the key. Let me see here. I've also got the Hydra synth over here, which has this like touch, and it can do some things that you can't do with the mod wheel, because I can't do the I can't do that with the mod wheel. But then I don't want to drive you guys crazy with guitar distortion sounds. This is a synthesizer live stream, darn it. We're not supposed to be doing guitars, right? But there's reasons to have different types of controllers, because they give you tools to do things that you can't do with what you currently have. So that was one unexpected surprise when I was playing guitars. And for those of you that were curious, this is the little Hydra synth that we're talking about. And as you can see, it doesn't have a mod wheel. It's got this touch surface. So you could, I can't do this and hold it up at the same time, I don't think. But I can hold a note and then just click up here. And I'm doing like trills. So for acoustic instruments, you can do trills and so forth. Flutes, winds, strings, all that kind of stuff. It's nice to have that to do sometimes, because you can't do I don't care what your technique's like with your mod wheel, you're not going to be able to do that same thing, because the mod wheel, it has to travel somewhere. Maybe you could sequence it into your sequencer, but you know, doing it live. So yeah, there's that. MegaMagic sax library. You know, I have a saxophone. I played saxophone. I have an alto. It's really hard to get sax that sounds nice, unless you're going for like the smoky jazz warm kind of sax, and then it doesn't cut in the mix. That David Sanborn kind of sax. The guys that do that the best are the Swam, with their instruments, the virtual instruments that they have done. And I was going to, actually, there's a one of their instruments I was going to I didn't get it installed this week. I'm sorry. I'll show you next week. There's a Swam wind instrument that is now available. They have a new series. Let me tell you about it if you want to. Swam instruments. That's audiomodeling.com. That's this website right here. And they have a new series inviting you to get your first steps into the physical modeling world with a more affordable version called Swam Very Flute, which does all sorts of different flutes. And instead of being $200, it's available for $39. So that is a very sweet introduction into, and their stuff sounds great. If I call up Swam Flute, I have the instruments. I think I installed them here. Nope, I installed them on my laptop. I haven't installed them here. But they're the best as far as getting it. Just listen to the demos. I was fortunate a couple years ago at the NAMM show to get to hang out with the guys, and they're from Italy, and they're quite the characters, and their attention to detail is incredible. And the instruments, it's not pure physical modeling. They're not afraid to have sampling for some of the things that physical modeling can't do. And so they have come up with this balance of the samples and the physical. It's kind of like when you're sequencing and you have everything is sequenced and you have somebody come play shakers, or you have one singer and just one real thing. Adding samples gives it an added dimension that it doesn't have if it's all just synthesis based. And so they have come up with some truly fantastic instruments. All the wind instruments, the strings, the violins. They've really, really done a great job. So if you want to get into that world, that wind one will give you all sorts of really cool flutes, which are really cool vibe to have and stuff like that. Yeah, we have any Swam product plus the Yamaha. Yes, yeah, those are all really, really good. You need the breath controller to be perfect. No doubt, it does make a big difference for getting the dynamics and the expressivity and stuff like that. It just makes it that much better to work with and stuff like that. Yeah. Yes, I could do this. Let's see. If I go to Swam Auto, let's see. Do I have, is it a Swam? No. Let's see here. If I log in, I have, because they were generous and kind enough to give me all of their instruments. Let's see, my products. Let's see, the Swam. Do I have the Very Flutes? You know what? I will show this next week. I don't want to take time trying to figure it out and get it to work and stuff like that. But I have the Swam Flute. I will show you that next week, and it's worth. I guarantee you, play the demo on that website, their audio modeling website, and you will see it is exceptional. They've done a very, very good job of making them very nice and musical and stuff like that. I don't know. I use Unify with my EUE, and it sounds amazing. Oh, cool, Andy. Yeah. Okay, so sweet. Let's see. Yeah, you know, the different companies have different ways of doing things. I understand Lurch. Yeah. You have those on. Okay, right. That's right. If you have an iPad, you can get Jordan's one of his Keyboard Wizard applications, and you can actually he's got the Swam instruments. You can add them to it, so you can play melody leads and stuff with them. It's great. All right. I think that was everything I wanted to show you. We got the 3 free effects from that one company that are great. AmpliTube, Synthmaster, and we threw in Swam instruments for free. It's not free, but $39 is a very reasonable price for the the places that flute can go and stuff. You'll be amazed when you're playing with the parameters of it. You can get all sorts of different types of wind instruments out of it, including new flutes that are not based in the real world, you know, type of thing. So it's really great at that stuff. Let's do this. Let's make some patches. You guys want to make some patches? Unless you have questions, if there's anything in Unify you have been perplexed by and not sure of, ask away, and I can happily show you through that. If not, we'll do some deep dive, and I want to get into some fun things with the guitar library. I want to show you how to do some wave sequencing kind of things, and oh, those are the power chords. We went above that. So. I wanted to do something actually kind of different with the pads, because there's all these different pads down here, and I've come up with the system for getting more crossfade wave sequencing kind of things, and I'm going to show that to you so you can experiment with this on your own, because there's all these different types of vibes, right? And there's the real guitar, which we might add after the fact, but to start with, I just want to play with these. Let me get the shape I want. Can you show us how to make strumming rhythms in Unify, please? Sure. Let's make a strumming rhythm, and we'll get into like crazy rhythmic things and stuff like that. So I'm going to mute Unify here, and I'm going to go over here to my DAW and turn on Unify and turn it up so I can hear it. So it's rebuilding the database. Like, wait, you've done something and I need to rebuild my database really quick. So we'll give it a second to rebuild. I added a lot of libraries because I didn't know exactly what I was going to do in the live stream. So it will take it just a second or two. Jim, we don't have drag and drop, but we do have something close. We are closer than we are now. How's that? Hurry up and rebuild your database, please. We want to play. Let's see. What else can we talk about while we're waiting? Can you resize your... Oh, yes. Thank you for pointing that out. That's right. I was doing all sorts of things, right? Let's see. Yes, we'll do that. So let's go bigger. Let's make this even bigger. I have a 49-inch monitor here. It's crazy. If you're thinking of getting a new computer monitor, I highly recommend going super wide. It's like 3 monitors in one. I can have OBS here. I can have Unify here. And then I have a whole empty space over here for even more stuff in this monitor. It's fantastic. I love it very, very much. So guitars. Let's go over here to the picked and let's use the AKG. So we have now there's a new version of Blue Arp we don't have. We will be adding it, I believe, to Unify 2. I'm still talking to Paul about that, but I think we'll add that. And it has a guitar strumming engine inside of it. I can't show that because I haven't played with it, but I do know that is around, and it's something I think we will try to incorporate into Unify 2 with everything else we are doing. Not like we're not doing a lot already, but it should just be a in and out because it's the same name and stuff like that. But we're going to do this with a MIDI file that will load into Unify. So I'm going to move this to the side. Now, one thing for this is you might want to go to the macro knobs and just bring up the release just a little bit, because it just sounds a little bit nicer to have just a little, not a lot. You don't need to be like that, but like it doesn't work right. So just let you go like that. So we're going to go over here And we're going to sequence a pattern that we want to be the strumming. Say that we wanted to do, we'll do a couple. We'll do like a slow 8th note, and then we'll do a 16th note. So let me make this tempo just a little bit slower, like 100 beats per minute. And I might quantize it, and then, but let's do it this way. Let's hit the piano player roll, and everything but the first note, this first note, let's see, let's select all of these and say quantize to 100%, and then turn off the first one, and then bring the quantize down to like 70%, maybe something like that. So it's just got a little bit more humanizing. And I did some fairly wide dynamics. Now let's go over here, text tool. I'm going to say guitar 8th note strummer. And so I need to, let's see, copy that name and then export that name as a MIDI file into, let's see, let's go desktop first and then go to Unify, libraries. Where's my libraries? MegaMagic Guitars. Let's see, I'm showing by the wrong thing. Let's go by name, Guitars 5. Let's go to MIDI files and say new strumming LS for Livestream. Because I'm going to give you these at the end, okay? So you'll say 8th note easy. And I'll put a GTR at the front just because we're being all nice and official and stuff like that. So I'm going to go over here to Unify really quick, and let's just for fun. Now, because I have all of these layers working, what I'm going to do a shortcut and go down here to the BPM guitars, because I have these different master strummers. Like this is the strummer acoustic, so that it will. So I've already set it up with MIDI box playing. There's jitterbox here available that's giving me just a little bit of random timing up to 8 milliseconds sloppy. Let's make it even less for this to start with. Let's just say you have half a second you can be randomizing. And I can open up this MIDI box and I'll change this by just clicking here and then zooming up to the MIDI files. And here is our new strumming live stream. And I say 8th note easy. And then I can play with velocity scale and offset to get to be the right Now, if we want to make this a little bit more human, we could do some fun things. We could go over to the other side of Jitterbox and we can add another creative MIDI effect that we have called Triggerbox, because Triggerbox does a really cool thing with this probability slider. If I set it at 0, it doesn't let any notes through. It's filtering them all. As I bring this up, I can get all sorts of cool like variations where I'm just like playing some notes, because when a guy's had a couple beers, it's late at night and he's like playing a song and then what's fun, if you want to really get carried away, you could save this. So we'll go save ZBPM guitar LS easy strumming 8th. Excuse me. So we'll save this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and load another version of this as a Unify layer. So it's going to load this entire setup into Unify, and I'm going to pan one to the right, and then these guys, I'm going to shoot them all to the left. And because it's got that trigger box in each one of them, it's now going to be random. This is not being a true, like, real guitar player now, but check this out. they're playing and strumming at different times the notes and stuff. So let's call this the 8th stereo, right? And let's go strum, just to keep it shorter name, save as. I'm going to give you a handful of different variations. Let's do one more where we go up here to the pads, and let's add like maybe the, let's try adding the clean electric guitar Bliss, just layer 1. Let's see if I take it down an octave. Now, once I've loaded this, I also can go to this list to all the effect patches. So, like it's an octave up too high, so let's take it down an octave. Maybe I don't want quite so much. I mean, the subby stuff's nice, but we might just want to control it a little bit. I'm going to use Noise Box as a high pass filter, so maybe a little low end. Let's call this stereo effects. Just give you a whole bunch of different variations on this kind of an idea. And now we're going to go make the 16th note pattern. Now, another thing we can do, on page 2, I have a knob set up for velocity. But I've added a second Unify to this whole equation. So right now that knob, it will work for the Unify that's in there, but it won't work for this Unify that I added, right? So like I mute my effect layer for a second. I'm controlling the left side, but not the right side. If I want to control the right side, you'd right click. That's the quick way to like go to this little bullet and say link parameters. And it's already set up as a macro knob inside of that Unify layer. If I open this back up, you'll see that on the macro knobs page, it has all the knob assignments that I did originally. So it's right there. All I have to do is go to this velocity knob. Hello, where are you at? I think it's behind it. Yeah, so let's go over here. If I get this up, I can, because it's doing the whole plugin inside of a plugin thing. But if I go here and I hit the plus button, I go to instrument, and I go to that whole, where is it? Right here, the 8th, to Unify. Here's all the macro knobs. So I can go to MIDI velocity, and that now puts it, and let's give it the full range. So now this knob will, both of them. Now, I didn't do this to the other patches, right? I have that Unify layer in there with the stereo stuff. Let's get our effects back in. Let's hold down Option Alt and click Save to update. I'm going to show you a trick. If you want, you can do it 2 different ways. You can go up here and you can say Copy Knob, because we want to paste this to the other patch. But there's a shortcut that we have instigated where if you hold down Control and Shift and click, that's the same as clicking on any parameter in here and pasting to another of itself. So like if you have a pump house preset shape that you like here and you want to put it to the other pump house, you Control Shift, copy this one, then hold down Shift and click the little bullet of the other ones, and that is an immediate paste. So if I go over here and I go Control and Shift and click velocity, I could go to the easy strumming. Now this is not the one in stereo, but here's the one in stereo where, so I'm doing the left side. I hold down Shift and I click, and now it's got both of them. And maybe we want probability. because it'd be fun. This post distortion low pass filter resonance, I don't think I'm going to use it. So I'm going to hold down Option Alt and click the bullet. That resets it, deletes whatever is assigned to it. And I'm going to call this up and say probability. B-I-L-T. And a percentage sign, right? So I'm going to right click this. And for this first top layer, it's going to be really easy because under the MIDI effects, let's see here. Why are you not giving me the whole list? You should, if I'm here, full range. It's there, but when I go here, it's MIDI file player. Oh, MIDI effect. Here we go. That's the name of the layer. Took me a second. Sorry. If you go to trigger box, here's probability. So now I can play with that probability. But it's only for one side. I want this to happen also for this built-in Unify layer, right? So what you have to do is you have to make a knob inside of this Unify layer that we can latch onto. So I can actually do this. I could just say, because it's the same parameter here. So I just go over here and I say copy. And then I actually make it even shorter. Check this out. If I go over here and I hold down Control Shift and I copy probability from this layer, I should be able to go to this layer to a macro knob. Let's say even on the second page, that post filter thing, hold down Shift and click. There it is. So now I can close this. I go back to this knob here and I just want to hit plus. And I want to go to the instruments. Here is my easy strumming Unify layer. Go to the knobs and there's probability. So now I've tied it to both layers. So I can have very small amounts of strumming, or I could have it just. So check this out. Go from this. You can find the place that's the right mix. So that's how you would do the probability. The rule is that since there's this Unify embedded layer, I want to change something inside of that Unify layer. You have to assign it to one of the macro knobs. So by going in and doing the probability in this Unify layer, I can latch to that parameter on the top layer, right? So that's a beautiful thing of the way that Unify works, is that you can access any parameter even inside deeply embedded multiple Unify layers. You just got to make sure your knobs are following the stream from the bottom to the top, and that gets you to this place. Now let's make a 16th note MIDI pattern really quick so that we can try that out. So let's have this go away really quick. Set it back like this. And instead of this MIDI effect, we're going to move it to the side, because we're going to make a stack. I'm going to show you how to make a stack too. So I need to get back to normal guitar, right? Because I can't sequence a sequenced guitar. And I'm going to hold down Option and hit Save to make sure that I updated that, so that that patch is updated. Let's go back to the picked AKG. Give me a little bit of release. And let's do like a 16th note pattern, like more of like a, not straight 16th notes, but, and I'm playing C. That way, when I load it in, it's automatically transposed to the right key. If you play a note, you can easily transpose what it plays, but you want to be consistent with all of your MIDI layers, the MIDI files that you make them all use the same note. There's a setting inside of Unify's MIDI box. I'll show you that when we get to it. I don't want to break what I'm doing. So, again, I've quantized it to 100% timing, mainly just because I want this first one to be on the absolute downbeat. The rest of them, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to let it shuffle a little bit, be a little bit slower. Let's say like 75%. 75 to 80% is a good place for humanizing. I could still use the jitterbox randomizing to do that too, but I prefer to keep just a little bit of your timing indent. But you don't want to change the timing of that downbeat. If that downbeat goes before 1, it will not show up in your MIDI file. And you also want to make sure this last note does not go over the end of the bar, or else Unify will add an extra measure to your MIDI file because you've crossed the timeline, right? So don't do that. Let's see. Don't do that. So we've got our thing. So let's go over here. Let's see. Copy this pattern name, and then we're going to go here and paste this. This is 16th note strum. And so we're going to copy that name and export this as a MIDI file, paste. There. So I can now go to Unify. I hope you guys are following along with this. I hope this is helpful to you. Let's go to that one. We can go to one of the master strummer well, actually, we'll go to the ones that we just made. The Z Livestream, 8 notes, not stereo. Let's just go with the easy. And you know, I didn't put the probability in here, did I? So let's do this. We'll have to go to one of these patches, hold down Control and Shift, click the bullet, go down here to the 8th note and Shift click. Now, you'll see that there's a red error because we don't have this embedded Unify layer. Sometimes when you're doing things in Unify, you'll be assigning things, and if you're copying and pasting, they don't exist. There's a command right down here inside of the master controls that says remove all invalid links. This will let it looks at all 32 knobs. Anytime it sees one of those red errors, look, hello. Oh, it's on top of it. See, it's gone. It got rid of it automatically for us. So now we just have that one there. So now I can play with the probability all the time. So let me option, click save. Option quick save is your friend. By the way, that possibility exists in Serum because I asked Steve Duda for it many years ago, that you can just click on the save button when you hold down option and it will quick save. I have had numerous synthesizers I have done voicing and baiting testing for that shortcut has been put into place. Let me be the option shortcut save guy, because that's I like being able to update a patch and then not have to go to the save page and not have to click update. I just option click. It's updated. Done. So that's my claim to fame. So if we go over here to the MIDI box and we click right here, we'll see we now have 16th note. Double click that. Find the scale and the offset. The scale gives it the range of scale, how far to the... If you set your velocity scale at negative, now they're all like the same velocity value, see? All that dynamics that I was playing when I was sequencing it is gone. So you can adjust this to get whether you want it to be really robotic or... You can adjust that to taste. It's exactly how you want it. Now, we could do more to this, of course. We've got controls over the probability. We've got control over the velocity. it's supposed to let me have the plugins to the front, but it doesn't do that for some reason. But do the probability, velocity. So you can see what it's controlling. Now let's make this so I can switch between the 8th note and the 16th note just with a macro knob. How would I do that? That's where you need a stack, because I have 2 different MIDI effects. Let's do this. Let's save this first as the 16th. So we'll go easy strumming 16th and go save as save. Okay, now I need to go back here really quick. This is where you would create another track in your DAW, and let's have it do the 8th note first and then 16th note second. And inside of Logic, I believe it's still an issue with Ableton Live can't do this. Most DAWs can do this. If you have these objects layered on top of each other and you export a MIDI file, it will just automatically group them into, I think it's a type 1 MIDI file, where each thing is considered a separate file. So that way you can like have one MIDI file that has the bass and the piano and the synth chord parts all from one MIDI file inside of one thing that you would load into Unify. Load the same MIDI effect to different layers and just different MIDI channels to work with. Let's call this the 8th to 16th strum stack. I always use stack in large caps. If you look through any of the libraries, that's one of the rules in voicing I do. By doing that, I can now do this. Let's delete these so that there's nothing here. Let's go back to our patch and we go to MIDI box and click right here. And now we choose the stack. And by choosing the stack, what happens is underneath the blue, which says the file that it loaded, right here is where you have the ability to see multiple stacks. If you've loaded any of the drum grooves that I've done in libraries, there's times where there's 25, 30 drum grooves, and then you can use this pattern knob to cycle between the different patterns. This is how you do that. And so I could have 20 different strumming patterns, and then I could assign it like this. And all you have to do is let's go to the top and let's use Pump House. Let's say we're not going to use Pump House in this particular example. So I'm going to option click that to reset it. I'm going to call this pattern Pattern. And I always use like a number. And lately I've been like putting even like numbers at the beginning and the end, just so you guys can really see clearly when I'm using this, because it is something I don't want you to miss. So by naming it that and right clicking this knob and then setting to full range and then hit plus MIDI effect, MIDI box, the very first option is track number. So by selecting that, I can now go from the 8th note to the 16th. And if you open up MIDI box, and then if I can see if it'll let me do this, it might let me. No, it's not. If I go here to the side and we say MIDI box right here, and here's our knob. See, it's changing. Here's a trick. Really well. Let's save this really quick. So we just got to go save. 16th, let's see, strum stack. So we go over here and we say strum stack. So that way you know that it's switching between the two, okay? So save as, save. If you click the blue and you go up a layer into the MIDI files for MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5, there's all sorts of things. And some of these I haven't made patches for. And you can play around in here. There's chord patterns. There's steel guitar patterns. Let's do this. Let's select all of these. I was gonna like open up so you can see. Let's go like this so you can see There's a lot of patterns in here, including phrases, guitar phrases. There's these new patterns that I made that are new. There's chord phrases, all sorts of stuff. And anytime you see a stack, here's like 5 different motifs. If I double click this, play one note, and then use the pattern knob, right? So there's all these different types of MIDI patterns and stuff inside here. There's phrases. And if you call up the phrase stack, this one has all these. They're made to be in a groove with a bunch of other stuff, and then it starts to really sound nice. Just like, let's make a groove just to show you how this works. We've made our stack. You see how that works. Let's make a groove with a bass and everything in this. Because if you saw in this list, there's bass phrases as well as guitar phrases. And I actually have them listed down below in the patches. I've made this already, but I want to show you how you can do this. So by using the stack, and you can see all the names, just so happens that if you go to the save page and you go to the variations, I believe if I set this to like phrases 1, let's play with phrases 1, okay? So if I open up MIDI, let's see. This is going to be called Easy Song Stack. For being a little bit different, we'll build the whole thing up. So we'll go save as save. So I'm in phrases 4. So let's go over here, and are we in song stack? I think we're in song stack. Yeah, phrases 4 for the chords. Now, I want this knob because what happens is if you look in this list, there's major, minor, minor 7, minor 7, 9. As I change the pattern, it changes those, but I'm not changing my name up here yet. There's an additional step you need to do to macro knobs, and that is to go over here and full range, click add variation. Variation is the internal instructions to change what you see in this display based on a text file that you make. And so if you look inside of the media, this is getting deeper into the deep dive, but I told you we were going to deep dive today. So if we reveal this in the Finder, and if you go to the library, there's this media folder, and here's the phrase text. And so if we go to phrases 4, double click this, here's all it is it's 4 things. And I could say, yo mama, save that. I'll change it back, but watch. If I go over here and I say phrases, call this back up, update. Now when I move this knob, after the first 4, your mama shows up. So you can put whatever text you want in that text file, and this will cycle through it. Each line is another step, and it's made, if you do it right, to follow the steps that have been set. So let's get rid of your mama. A lot of times we'll have a blank at the first step, so there should be a blank, but for this one I didn't do that. So by updating that, and then if I go back here and I call up song stack again, so let's go up here to the basses. Let's say just the, let's do the clean and distorted. We'll say load this to a Unify layer. Now we have just a bass on top of it, and it's like, well, that's not what you want. You want to go over here, arpeggiators, MIDI box, and then we need to say we're going to go to this library, MegaMagic Guitars V5. Click here. Look for the folder that said the bass phrases, which was right. Where are you at? Here we go. Bass phrases 4 stack. So it's going to follow that too. In fact, I want to go to this knob, and I'm going to do a trick. So we're going to say, copy this, duplicate it by 1 step, and it's going to wait. there's no MIDI effect on this next step. It's actually down here on number 5. So double click here, go to the numbers and say 5. Oh, MIDI effect 1 track number. Well, let's do this. Let's delete that and try it one more time. Maybe because it's a embedded Unify layer or something like that. So instrument, bass, MIDI effect, MIDI box, track number. I probably had to look a little bit differently because it's not MIDI, it's instrument layer, right? So now this bass is too low. So I'm gonna go to the MIDI box for it. And this is where your offset comes into play. If you were to have made a sequence using something other than C, right now, if I call up, let's see, I want this to be on top. There we go. If I call up, if you go over here and say, like, give me another layer, it's in the wrong key. So we'll fix that. So let's mute the bass. And go to MIDI box. I need to transpose it down 5 so that I match. That's why I love empty layer, because it just gives you, it's in perfect tuning for tuning checking, and it's also the right key for reference. For now the bass, let's see, get rid of our bass layer here now. It also needs to be transposed down 5 semitones. So, but I want to go up. Let's just to fill it out, let's go standard library, BPM drums, find a little drum groove to add to this. Let's say something like Island Sun. We'll start with that and then maybe we'll modify it. But let's load it as a Unify layer and immediately off the fact. By the way, this is something I'm fixing for Unify 2. I'm turning off this note course so that the drums don't with this on. Drums transpose as you're playing keys. I don't like that. I want it to be one, wherever I play on the keyboard, the drums stay at the same pitch. Now that might not be the right pattern, so I'm gonna go over here and that's better. Not so happy with the drum kit selection, so we can go over here and say, give me a different drum kit. Everything's cool but the kick. I want a different kick. So all we have to do, let's solo this. Let's go over here and say duplicate this layer. So we say duplicate. And I'm going to solo this layer here and use MIDI box to filter out the kick. So the kick's gone. And then I'm going to go to this layer and I'm going to filter from the top down. So there's just the kick. And now I can go to a different drum kit for this layer. And I can use transpose. I want -1. There. And maybe I have a different kit, so there we go. So I got my groove now that I want. Now, because I have the kick on its own layer, that can be dry, and this other layer, I could run through reverb. So right? Now, if I wanted to, let's like take this all the way. So we're gonna like right click on all of the top ranges here and set it at B. But I want the guitar, let's see, I shouldn't have done the guitar because the guitar has been controlled by the MIDI file up here. So it can be full range and I don't hear it above the keyboard. And I can go over here and let's say we want to add like a cool pad thing. So let's go back to the full library. MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5. Let's go into the bonus guitars. Let's use Time Bandits. That'd be really cool, this electric guitar. So load that into Unify as a layer. And we want that to only be in the top range. Now I might want to turn all these guys down just a little bit, so hold on Option. Oh, I'm playing major 7th. I want minor. Cool, huh? So, and let's call this live stream. How about, let's see, what was the name of that patch? Time Bandits. Let's call this, how about Knight Rider? Save as, save. So we now have this combination. Now we didn't make a stereo. Do you want to make a stereo really quick? Let's take the easy strumming 16th. And just like we did before, we right click and we say duplicate. We want to, well, actually not duplicate. We want to load this into a new Unify layer. Pan these guys all to the left. And then this Unify layer to the right. And I'm going to be a little lazy. I'm going to go save as strum stereo. Stereo, right? That's what I did. Oh, 8th and then stereo. 16th stereo. Save as save. And then I'm going to go to the 8th stereo because I'm lazy. And I'm going to just say, actually, it's the same macro knobs for both. So we just say copy all macro knobs, all 32, go to the 16th, and we want to paste all macro knobs. So now I have my probability and velocity working for this because it's the same layout. And if I'm not going to use, well, let's stop right there because you can keep going. Because I have a jitterbox here, I could go to the distortion low pass filter, which I'm not going to use for this particular sound. I could reset that, and I could right click, and I could go up and I could say, give me MIDI box, MIDI effects, jitterbox, milliseconds max. And by choosing that, I now have humanize on one side. Starting to get lazy, a little sloppier. But like 32 milliseconds would be nice because that would just. So let's call this humanize and save. And I want to put that onto everything else. So I'm going to copy that really quick. Go over here, paste, save, go over here, paste, save, paste. And this is one where, okay, it's set. So we go save, and also here too, these guys too, paste, save, paste. So as you can see, I have asked Shane over and over for various updates to get this to be as smooth and fast to work with as possible. So you can fly around if you want, as far as how everything works. Okay, so let me give you all this stuff we made. I haven't even checked the chat. I've just been kind of deep in doing this. There's 57 of you still here watching this. Good, because it's a deep dive. This is something that a lot of people go, I got something better to do. Oh, Surgeon. So for a new watcher, what is Unify? Surgeon, I'm not sure if you're still here. Unify is a host plugin that lets you play with all of your plugins. And I call it a doggy park for plugins because you've got instrument and you can go here and here's every company's instrument plugins. If I go to Cherry Audio, I have all the Cherry, where are they at? Cherry Audio. All of these plugins, all the native instruments plugins, everything is here that I can load on 24 layers if I want. The section next to this are audio insert effects. They're all green right now, but Unify 2 is coming in a month or less, and it will be easier to differentiate between them. And then the plus right here, or as a separate up here, can be MIDI effects. So you can do things like we're doing. I have MIDI effects playing instrument layers that have audio insert effects on them. And these, if I wanted to use a different sample library instead of the guitars inside of Unify, I could click here. I could say, go to native instruments and get contact right here, load up any guitar library that I own and use it, or use Ample Sound guitars, all that kind of stuff. And then we've just taken it farther. You can do things you can't do. Even some DAWs give you control for things like this, but none of them give you the ability to like have a sound like this and then go to a separate program that has nothing to do with what you're doing here and say, I want to add, let's say, this is a nice cool reverb. So I'm going to right click. Actually, I want this one right here. Let's say right click, load this into a new Unify layer, and it can load 24 layers of patches from existing libraries. So like, and let's say I go to Zebra, which is one of the library, this Yuhi's plugin. We have every patch saved from that plugin. I've gotten permission from my friends there so that I could right click and I could say, let's use not quarter trips. What's picked? I don't know, but Howard makes really great patches. So let's say load this into a Unify layer. So I've got Zebra 2. And I could go to Serum or to another library. If I wanted drum groove to go with this, this is a drum groove library I made with 1,200 grooves. It's like a 2025 version of Stylus RMX because there's drums, percussion, breakbeat loops, weird loops, and then at the summit, all the way at the end, in the middle here, are these things that combine all that stuff together. And I could say, here's like push it. So let's right click and say load this into Unify as a new layer. And it's loaded this monstrous crazy thing with all these groove parts. It's too loud, so any patch that you make in Unify format, you can load into Unify to make new patches and new layers and stacks. It's a creative playing place to play with your plugins. It's like you got all these freaking plugins on your computer. Where can you play with them and be creative and mix and match and experiment? And that's what we're for. So that's what we do. But so I can't Unify Vital. Matt asked me not to because his patches are his calling card to get people to come to his website, which gives him a shot at getting them to buy the additional upgraded versions of Vital. So he's asked me not to. So out of respect, if someone says, I asked Eric if I could Unify Spectrasonics, Omnisphere, and he said, you could do the expansion libraries, and we have. In fact, one of the expansion libraries is here. If you look down in the Unified libraries, right here, Spectrasonics Nylon Sky is here. So I can click this, and I can call up the Nylon Sky patches. So I can play any of the stuff that's there. But I can't do the... also, if based on what I've done some research and stuff, the Omnisphere library, because there are so many patches and the way that it saves its data, it's like multiple gigabytes for the unified library. So it's behemoth. So, and you know, he asked me not to because they do updates to the library and stuff, and he doesn't want different variations of the library out. So if I reach out to the companies and I make sure it's okay that we save their factory patches in Unify format. If you go to Diva, these are all the Diva. Oh, I don't have it loaded up right here, but I think I have only the VST. There's one of these things we have to fix one of these days soon, and that's the VST2, VST3 issue for some of these. But all these unified libraries, they all work. And if they're there because I got permission for them to do that. So I know you own Vital. You can make your own unified library. All you have to do is go to Vital, call up a patch, save it to a new library, save your favorite patches, and in 30 minutes, you'll have your 50 favorite Vital patches saved as a unified library. It's not hard to make a unified library. It's hard to do it if you're going to do it to all 500 patches or something, but there's 3 versions of the library. And if we've unified the full version of the library that you're paying money for those extra patches, he doesn't want that to happen. So I have to, out of respect, if someone says, no, you can't, then I don't. If they say, sure, go for it, then I do. So that's how that side of things works. So we're over time. I hope this was helpful for you guys to see all the stuff you can do. Follow me on the newsletter thing, because it's going to take me a few minutes to put all these pieces together to make the little free unified library. I'll send out a note tomorrow with a link to download the bonus patches that I just made, because I got MIDI files. I've got all sorts of patches that I have to put together, and I don't want to mess that up by doing it fast in the live stream. So that will be put out tomorrow, so that all of these patches, we made 8 patches in the live. I wasn't planning to make that many, but I think it's good to show you guys the process of how you make stacks, how you can get the variations and stuff and have variety and variability, you know. I think it's pretty cool. So hopefully that was helpful to you. Paul. Oh, cool. Okay. I get lost so yeah, I understand. How to make twang playing electric close to the bridge with bridge pickups. You could use an effect that could like change the format that you would modulate to do such a things or something like that. I don't have all that kind of twangy samples inside of the library at this point. I didn't do that, but the Discord link. Let me do this. I can find it here real quick because I'm just getting that up and running. So it goes Synth. Oh, I just sent it to someone. So here, if I go here, I'll give you an invite. Let's see. I need to go here, please. Copy link. Here's our Discord invite. So there you go. Congrats, Andy. That's great. Don't forget to click the like. Let's do shout outs from Eagle, Idaho. Again, I'll get you a link. I'll post it on Discord. We'll have this show up on Discord. So if you're there, you can get a link here shortly after I get it ready, and I will send it in the newsletter tomorrow. I'll send it out with the replay. Okay. Look at everybody's reporting. Scotland's reporting in. Finland, Colorado. Good. you know, at this point, we're near the end of the life of Unify 1, so we might as well do some deep dives into all the stuff it can do, because it's pretty shocking how far you can get with controlling plugins. I'm showing you examples using the plugins built into Unify. You can go this deep with every plugin you own. That's what it's all about. So, Wisconsin, Japan, Kazakh-san, arigatou gozaimashita. Domo. From Florida. Good to see you, Tom. Yeah. 99 degrees. Wow. Nice. Nice. It's warm here. I was almost thinking of doing a paddleboard. We've got just a few chances left, so maybe I'll take my dog. We might go do some paddleboarding after this. So, but thank you all for joining us. This library, MegaMagic Guitars Volume 5, is on sale at a crazy introductory price, $42 off its retail. It's more than half off. So if you don't own it, grab it, and we will see you in a week. We'll do this all over again. Thank you for joining. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a creative week, and we'll see you later, okay? Bye, everybody.